Ben McAdoo looks wet. Why is he always wet? I wish I knew why. Man, that's a greasy guy. Hold up, we gon' need 100 rolls of bounty. It's a slimy mess, it's dripping all around me. Had me slipping, tripping, drowning when they found me. It's a Niners party, this shit getting rowdy. Hold up, I played Howard, Hyde, and Breeze and they suck. Over the beat, I'm the fantasy Russ. Paid for 20 lineups, all of them duds. So I got left in the dust. Hold up, Peterson showing his age to us. Russ, let me blaze it up. I picked up Zeke and now we left the country. So I'm way in the slum. Hold up, Ben McAdoo, wet, greasy, fish, oil, sausage fingers, Pagano, zingers, brisket throwing, 2 Jack Doyle, pizza, wingers, chicken dinners, Andy Reid on rapping, foil, popping jalapeno poppers right up out the oil. Where the weight at? Before I ran up in the building talking way back, I stay late night dreaming about the payback. All I wanna do is get rich, Hey. Come on in. Fill it up. You know the drill. Sweaty. You're so sweaty already. Piff on the Blitz, episode 11. Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. We are now on Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, iTunes, podcast app, that of which you don't leave reviews for. I need 5 stars. On today's show, we're going to bring Fat Wolf out. He's going to give us a recap for week 10. Got a couple corrections from last week's show. Well, we need to have a sit down about it. You'll find out how I really feel about Cam Newton. And Jerry Jones is in full tantrum mode. He's a baby. We'll also talk fantasy kickers. And I'll give you the game picks for week 11. The fantasy weekly fit, weekly shit. You know what I'm saying? We'll take a shit. And then I'll give you the locks for week 11. Thanks for tuning in. You really don't want to miss it. Let's really kick it off. On today's show, we have Fat Wolf. Let's get Fat Wolf on the line. Fat Wolf, are you there?
Yeah, Piff, I'm here. Got the week 10 weekly lineups and the recaps.
We just want the recap today, Wolf. We just want the recap. So what do we got?
Right, okay. Kobe Brisket had the smoker going again this week, Piff, while the Steelers slept in through the Sunday morning halftime show. Then the Steelers hopped out of the bed, Piff, and turned the game on. Told the Colts they were about as good as Soldier Boy 5000. Hey, Dad needs his paper. Go shovel the snow, you ingrate. There's a pile of it. Amadeus Mozart Thielen went for over 600 yards. Wow. Receiving with his ear to the dirt. It was a damn Christmas bazaar, Piff. All the bells and whistles. Case Keenum wrapped the game in tissue paper. Juju on the beach, Schuster continues to take the spotlight from the marvelous marauder Martavius Maloney while he reenacts the SummerSlam match between AJ Green Goblin and Jalen the Ramsey Rambo. It's a tight end carousel now in New England as old friends reunited to rout John Smelly Mouth Elway. The Broncos defense isn't that good anymore. It's just not good anymore, Piff. And Dak Prescott was running around like a Thanksgiving turkey. Chaz Green let his team down and he turned into a turnstile before midnight. Rod Smith is a Twitter trend and Jason Garrett's a finely tuned PC. And that's week 10, Piff.
Wow. Thanks, man. It kind of sounded like you were eating at the same time that you were talking, though. Like,
yeah, it might sound like I'm eating food, Piff. Yeah, it might. Like the turduckets are slathered up with the brown sugar. I got the sweet cheese pies in the oven. And Thanksgiving early here. Working through lunch for you, Piff.
Right. That's what it sounded like. Okay, well, thanks, Fat Wolf. I appreciate you. We'll check in with you soon. How's Fat Wolf, everybody? Okay, hi. Your regularly scheduled program has been interrupted for 2 corrections that had happened in last week's episode. So let's go over them. I would like to issue a formal apology to Deion Sanders and Deion Sanders' son for making a mistake and the fact that I had said that Deion Sanders' son went at some coach with a kettlebell. That wasn't the case. What had actually happened was he beat up a security guard at the school so bad that the security guard needed spinal surgery. And then it's all alleged. And I don't like to accuse people of things they haven't done. I want to accuse them of things that they've allegedly done. And I got it confused with the P. Diddy situation when P. Diddy went to UCLA and attacked a coach with a kettlebell. And I confused P. Diddy and Deion Sanders. I was making the same point. So So there's the correction from last week's show. An apology as well to all of you for spoiling Stranger Things a little bit, because I started talking about the Browns, and of course you can't even talk about the Browns or bad things will happen. And so the Browns are so bad that if you even talk about them, bad things will happen. It's like superstition. So I started talking to ramble on about the Browns, blah blah blah. I had the show fresh in my mind. I had just finished it, and I kind of said this and I kind of said that. So my apologies. But it's not my fault. The Browns are trash. You know what I mean? So and that's just what it is. So those two things, wanted to get that out of the way before we get into anything else. So now let's get into anything else. Game picks. Last week we went 10-4. We are now 89-55. Jump from 79-51 to 89-55. That's great. Game picks are hot. We're on fire. Weekly fantasy lineups, not so much. We're trying. It's hard out here. It's hard out here for a pimp. But I took it upon myself this last week to do some QA, some quality assurance for that ass. So I went and I listened to a whole bunch of podcasts where people were giving the weekly fantasy lineups. I said, what is out here for the people? What am I doing? And what is out here for the people? You know, well, what's the market analysis? So I listened to a bunch of their shit. I played a bunch of their lineups. I played a bunch of their stacks. Dude, nothing. I wasn't winning shit. But they were still retweeting people that were saying that they were winning. But they couldn't have been winning off of just their lineups. They had to have made a lot of adjustments. And so the bottom line is, ain't nobody out here doing shit. Ain't nobody just giving you money. We're not just handing money out. So I listened to a bunch of the shows. I ran their shit. I won $3. So it is what it is. Just trying to give you the best. And nobody said it was going to be easy. Weekly fantasy lineups and stuff aren't easy. But if you win a lot of money, it's worth it. So keep that in mind. But back to the game picks. Like I said, 10-4 this last week. We did good. We made correct picks like the Seahawks on Thursday night. They beat the Cardinals. They held on. We were wrong about the Jets and Bucks. It was a close one. The Packers were able to pull it off against the Bears. And that was another close one. So, you know, we can't be right all the time, but we were pretty good. And of course, the Cowboys, I was saying, when I pick them, they lose. When I don't, they win. So I don't know what to do here, but they're a mess. Their left tackle being out, 8 sacks on Dak. Russell Wilson got sacked 5 times. Those kind of things bring points down. And then if you had, for the weekly fantasy, if you had Goff, you were doing well, but if you didn't stack him with Robert Woods, then you didn't reap all the benefits. I had him stacked with Gurley in a couple lineups. Didn't reap all the benefits. He did good, but you had to have had Woods. You definitely had to have had Ingram yesterday. If you had stacked Goff, Ingram, and Woods, you'd be fucking in the money. Those were the 3. And Larry Fitzgerald had a good day, So you could have probably afforded all of them. You could have probably squeezed all of them. The Le'Veon Bell, Ben thing didn't work. The Stafford Tate thing didn't really work unless you had, because if you played Fournette, which a lot of people did in their lineups, he didn't really show up at all. So that fucked us. And then another thing that hurt us was Bell not killing it. And so, it is what it is. We'll try again this week. We'll give you a good weekly lineup, and we'll see what we can do. But like I said, the game picks are good. Lineups, not so much. Did you guys catch the Monday night game? Cam Newton, Panthers routing the Dolphins 45 to 17 or some shit like that. 21 maybe. And I couldn't help but notice that Cam was really happy. He was really excited. I couldn't help but notice because literally that was all they were showing me. Cam knows where all the cameras are. So he points at him, does his Superman thing, stares in your eyes, fucking gives you a blinding smile. You're fuck. You know what I mean? He knows where all the cameras are. And whenever they're up and they're killing it, he's dancing. It's Dancing with the Stars, featuring Cam Newton. It's basically he takes over the whole fucking show. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He's not acting like that when they're losing or it's even borderline. I just want consistency. That's terrible sportsmanship. You're winning 45 to 7 or something at one point, or 10, or I don't know. And you're dancing all over the fucking place and pointing and going into the cameras and doing all these moves. And even when you get tackled and you're laying on the ground, you're fucking thrusting your fucking hips and, swaying your shoulders. Dude, what? Huh? I don't understand. when you're barely winning or losing, you're not doing that shit. But you feel like it's necessary just to stomp all over everybody, and that's just to give you like Monday night is his show. So he takes off on for a first down on the 30-yard line, and he proceeds to continue running after he got the first down from the 30-yard line all the way to the end zone, and now he's in the end zone all by himself, fucking dancing, putting on a show, pointing out in the crowd like it's a fucking Cam Newton tour. Like, I don't understand that. From the 30-yard line, you had to run all the way to the end zone and celebrate by yourself. And do you ever notice, like, when he celebrates, he's like fucking, it's like he fucking shoves everybody else out of the way, and he's just like, bah, Superman, like all by himself. Like it's a one-man fucking deal. Selfish. He's just a selfish player. And I feel like a lot of the times he takes off with the ball, it's not fucking planned out. It's just selfish. And, you know, if you think back to the Super Bowl that he had, I think it was 43, I don't know, 41, I don't know, playing against the Broncos, and he just didn't have that hype that he had Monday night. He wasn't fighting for the ball. He wasn't celebrating all over the fucking place. He was getting beat, and he couldn't handle it, and he can't handle it. Because when he's losing, he has a towel over his head, and he's crying. Or he's leaving early at the press conference. Nope, not going to answer your questions. Or he's saying something dumb at the press conference. Not exactly qualities of a leader. And, you know, and dude, and I'm a fan of people celebrating. Like fucking Deion Sanders in the 90s. You know, I enjoyed watching him high step into the end zone. He was a great player, you know. And I was talking shit last week because, you know, he was going after my boy Romo. But don't get it twisted. Like, I enjoy celebrating myself. And I enjoy watching other players celebrate, you know. But I just can't see myself celebrating that hard ever when I'm up by like 28 points and the game's all pretty much over. Like, Monday night, it's Cam Newton show, and I don't know, it irritates me. It just rubs me the wrong way. And you can agree to disagree, or you can disagree to agree. You know what I mean? So, either way, it's not going to bother me. Let me know how you feel about it. Get at me, at Monster Piff, on Twitter, whatever. But it's irritating to watch him. It's irritating. I just want to see that same energy. Bring that same energy when you're losing and the game's on the line. Then fucking get crunk, and you'll win me over. You know what I mean? Because if you're down by 6 with a minute left, and you get a first down, and you fucking do a Superman and shit, and you're hype up and you're dancing, that's fine. That's what I want. Just bring the consistency. You know, then I'll enjoy it more because I see you're in it. You know, I see you have that energy. But when you only have that energy when you're crushing another team, it's just kind of lame. You just kind of look like a lame. So that's what I'm saying. So that's Cam Newton. So that's how I really feel about Cam Newton. I used to like him. But the more I watched how he acted, the more I was just like kind of turned off by it. You know what I mean? Pause. So, yeah, so that's how I really feel. And don't get me wrong, Cam's great. Like, he is a great athlete. He's set rookie records. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's a good quarterback. I don't have a problem with his play. I just want the same energy when he's losing. That's all I'm saying. All right, Jerry Jones. What's going on with Jerry Jones and what's going on with the NFL? And you might have heard rumors, is Jerry getting the Cowboys taken away from him? What's going on with the Arthur Blank, Jerry Jones thing? Break it all down for me, Piff. This is fucking confusing. Well, I'll try to make it as simple as I can. Jerry Jones is throwing a fit. He's throwing a fit. Zeke got suspended. Jerry's pissed about it. And Arthur Blank, the Atlanta Falcons owner, is like, Jerry, stop. You know, we already voted that we were going to have Roger Goodell continue being our commissioner, and now Jerry's trying to pull that back and get another vote going, and Arthur Blank's like, this isn't the way we're going to do things in the NFL. So him and Jerry Jones are butting heads. Jerry used to be on the committee, the smaller committee that decided whether or not Roger Goodell was going to continue being the commissioner or they were going to seek out a new one. He's not on the committee anymore because now he's threatening a lawsuit against the NFL. And so he's causing a stir, and there are people out there that are saying that he put Papa John, up to the whole remarks that he made last week about how the NFL's hurting his sales. A lot of people think Jerry put Papa John up to it. And so that he's doing this all at the same time, he's trying to cause a big issue because Zeke was suspended. He's not happy about it. And this is all going to lead up to the draft, which will be down in Dallas next year. And that'll be interesting when Roger Goodell comes up to the booth to say something, and I think the boos will be louder than they've ever been. We'll see what happens. But basically what you need to know is nobody's taking the Cowboys away from Jerry Jones. In theory, it's possible for the NFL owners to be like, everything Jerry's doing is detrimental to the league. We have the right and we have the power to take the team from him, but I don't see it going that far. I really don't. How far Jerry's going to take it, I don't know. But he's got this lawsuit going because he basically doesn't want Roger Goodell to be commissioner. He wants to show Roger Goodell that it's a power struggle. You know, you fucking suspended my guy, then no, of course I'm not going to be down with you being the commissioner. And Jerry's reasoning is that he believes he was lied to. He believes that Roger Goodell had kind of hinted to him Zeke won't face a suspension. And then Zeke did. So Jerry feels betrayed. So that's the whole thing you need to know. There might be a huge, long lawsuit with Jerry Jones versus the NFL. But the rumors about him losing the Cowboys, they're not true. And it's not likely. The rumors with him and Papa John's, I don't know what Jerry Jones and Papa John are doing. Like, I don't know if this is like if Jerry Jones is forming like a secret legion of fucking weirdos. It's like him, Papa John's, Trace Atkins, who knows? Like, he might be gathering his own special group. Like, I don't know. Jerry's crazy. So, but that's what you need to know for the Jerry Jones Arthur Blank thing. That's why people were making a big deal with the Arthur Blank versus Jerry Jones thing, because also Jerry showed up to the Atlanta game and stood on the sidelines with his arms crossed. And Arthur Blank stood in the field facing the other way. And usually it's tradition for owners to go and shake each other's hand before a game, and they didn't. They just stared like off into the distance as they stood apart from each other. And Jerry had just like the security guard with him. It was weird. The whole thing was kind of weird. So, you know, that's where all that stuff came from. But yeah, so Jerry's throwing a fit. He doesn't like that his guy's suspended, and that's pretty much what you need to know for that. So, are you all caught up to speed now? Can we talk about the real stuff? Can we talk about fantasy? Let's do this. Let's talk a little fantasy. We're going to go inside fantasy with Piff. And then we're going to go into the weekly game picks, the Survivor locks, the weekly fantasy lineup, wrap it all up, call it a day, break huddle. But I wanted to talk about fantasy because, you know, the playoffs are coming up. They're a few weeks away for most people in most leagues. I don't know if you guys do waiver budget, the WAB, where you have a set amount of points and you use those points to pick up players, or if you do the waiver order. My league, we started with the waiver order, and what had ended up happening was the teams that were not doing good because they weren't making good choices were losing. But as the season wore on, they got really good picks in the waiver order. And so then at the end of the year, right before the playoffs, they had built like this super team, this stacked team. And so that took a team that was like 0-6 and turned them into a Super Bowl champion, and it just happened too fast, and it just didn't seem organic enough. So we went away from the waiver order. It can be good, but it just has its flaws. It has a major flaw right there. As far as the waiver budget points, depending on how competitive your league is, it can work out. Major flaws? Well, not really. I haven't found any yet. The only flaws really with that system is if people are just sleeping and they're not putting points on players, then the people who are getting the advantages. And so if you don't have a super competitive league, some things can get unbalanced there. But that's not really a flaw. That's just the way the game works. You know, the waiver order thing is kind of a flaw because it prevents people who are working hard from getting stuff. And it's basically like a very liberal way to spread things out. You know, if you're not doing good, you get more money. Like if you're not educated, here's a good job for you. Like it doesn't work. So anyways, as we get down to the playoffs, you know, people hold the points, you know, people blew them already. And so this is where the management of that comes in. And you got to look at the way your team's built. I build my team big on the ends. So quarterback, defense, maybe tight end. And then I just try to work the middle with whatever I can. I just look at it differently. People look at it differently. Some people don't value quarterbacks as much. Some people don't value wide receivers as much as they do running backs. And I guess it also depends on what the current market is for them. How are running backs performing in the NFL? How is the league looking with running backs in the waiver pool? Are there a lot? Are there none? So is the value up because of that? So there's all these things you got to look at. You know, you might manage your team however you want to manage it. But here's an inside tip. This is something I've kind of learned as I went on, and hopefully it helps you. In disclaimer, if it doesn't, don't fucking come at me about it. But kickers, right? Who needs them? Glorified bench spot. Glorified bench spot. They're trash. Nobody cares about kickers. Like, projecting a kicker is stupid. It's dumb. Like, there are a couple things you can project. Okay, this is going to be a high-scoring offense, so having their kicker will be beneficial. Right. But for you to be like, oh, this kicker's going to have fucking 5 field goals in this game. How would you know that? It's not as easy to project that kind of thing as it is to say, okay, Tom Brady against this really bad passing defense is going to score big. Or this mediocre quarterback against a really bad pass defense is going to have a better week. He should have a better week. But to project a kicker is like, huh? Like, oh, this is going to be a low-scoring game. It should lead to a lot of field goals. Maybe. You're projecting a whole entire game rather than projecting a one-on-one matchup. You know what I mean? And so I don't believe in the kicker projections. I don't ever believe in any of them. Because there's been so many times where I've picked kickers from low-scoring games and they just don't kick field goals and it turns into a high-scoring game. It's just too hard to project that wide. So glorified bench spot. What I do for a certain period of time during the season is I drop a kicker and I pick up another player because my bench spots are low in my league. So if your bench spots are low in your league and you only have 3 or 4 spots on the bench, then, you know, you got to be really good about who you hold on to and who you don't, because you want to continue to bring in potential. You want those guys from the waivers to turn into 20-point-a-week players or whatnot. And so you're always supposed to be evaluating and rotating those out and give yourself an extra bench spot. Why not for the week? Because you can then evaluate what happens during the week. You know what happens in practices. People go down. They get injured. They get sick. They can't play Sunday. So then Friday or Saturday comes around and you're trying to find a player then. But if you had used the kicker spot as a glorified bench spot and kept somebody there, you might already have that player and you don't have to fight for him. Say it's a bye week and you're already losing. Drop the kicker spot, pick up a player that's on a bye week, you can get him now and have him for next week. And then, you know, at the last second, put a kicker in. Or sometimes, if you have a good kicker, he's on a high-scoring offense, then don't mess with it. Then you can't do that. But if you're in mediocre territory and your kickers are just mediocre and you're already streaming them a little bit anyways, then why not do it right and stream them later? And so if there might be a couple players that's like, oh, I really want a couple players from these waivers, but I don't know which one to pick. Get them both and see what happens throughout the week. See if the coach comes out in a meeting and says, yeah, we're going to give this guy more touches this week. And it's not always gold when they say that, but it gives you something. And so all I'm saying is, pro tip, take the kicker spot, make it a glorified bench spot most of the time, unless you have like Gostkowski or fucking a kicker on a high-scoring offense. And it's helped me. It really has. And I think it goes underrated. It's underrated. It goes unnoticed that you can do things like that. When you have a bye week coming up and you're like, oh, I got to drop somebody. Drop the kicker. Pretty much, unless he's the number one kicker and he's for sure getting over 10 points a week. Don't drop him then. But if he's not, and he's getting 2 this week, 6 another week, 10 one week, 4 another week, then fucking who cares? Because you're essentially bringing on somebody from the waivers that might be able to get 20. So I just said this, if the ceiling's higher, I'll go for it. So there's an inside tip, and you can use that when you're getting into the playoffs. Like, oh shit, I need to find a tight end. I need to find this. We'll grab a couple of them and see what happens through 1 week. And then after 1 week, you can find, and see, here's another thing. You get a couple guys from the waivers that are in the 9 o'clock games, and they sit on your bench. You see what they do. If they blow up, you already have them. If they don't, you just drop them and go get a kicker. You know what I mean? And this has happened like every single year. Towards the end of the year, teams that aren't doing good give other wide receivers and running backs a shot. Well, we need to evaluate ourselves. We need to try a new quarterback. We need to try new wide receivers. So there's always somebody in the waivers that's a wide receiver that hasn't gotten much action throughout the year, that because of injuries or because of poor performance by the players that are above him, he's getting more shots, i.e. Corey Coleman, i.e. Corey Davis, i.e. Guys like that you'll see in the waivers. Eckler, all of a sudden he's blowing up. He's getting more of an opportunity. As the season wears on, they need to evaluate these players. Look at the Broncos running back situation revolving. So these things happen. So when they happen, you have to take notice and just pick them up and see what happens. Juju Smith-Schuster turned on halfway through the season. You know, it took him a few weeks. If you had picked him up and you kind of held on to him to see what happened, you would know. And so, but towards the end of the year, as we get into the playoffs, there's always that wide receiver that comes out of nowhere. A couple of them. Robbie Anderson did it last year. Down the stretch, dude, the beginning of the year, Robbie Anderson was nothing. He was barely showing up anywhere. Yeah, he was still like a number 2 or number 3 receiver on the Jets last year. But they evaluated him more. And towards the end of the season, he was killing it down the stretch. And him and like J.J. Nelson got me into the Super Bowl. And those were guys that were literally on the waivers till like week 11, week 12. And so there's always those guys at the end of the year where I'm just saying, like, take the kicker and move them in. That's why it's important to do it, because I say, well, what do you mean there's a potential for a waiver player to get 20? What I mean is there's literally potential for a player out there on the waivers who wasn't getting anything all year to start getting 15 to 25 points every week. Not just blows up one week and then he's gone the next. Like, you got to pay attention to the targets. There's websites you can go to and you see how many targets is this guy getting every week, and it'll tell you. And you can see the trends right there. It's like watching the stocks. If he goes from 2 to 4 targets to 7 to, oh shit, he got 10 last week, and then you see, okay, it's at 10. Is it going to go all the way down, or is it going to stay above 5? And if it stays above 5, then it's like, yo, that guy has a potential to get a lot of catches. And so you watch those trends. So I don't know, maybe I rambled on too much about it, but basically, yeah, take your kickers out, fucking go pick up waivers, pick up kickers last, right? Don't draft kickers either. So anyways, some fantasy inside the tip. You know what I mean? Pause. Inside information. All right, let's get into the game picks for the week. What do we got here? Week 11, Thursday night matchup, Titans and Steelers. Ends with a Monday night matchup between Atlanta and Seattle. The Sunday night game, the Eagles and the Cowboys, which would have been a lot more exciting had Zeke been playing, had Smith not been injured. Sean Lee's going to be out for a few weeks. The Cowboys are a disaster. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I just don't. And I think they're going to get smashed this week against the Eagles. I think the Eagles can put up 35 plus on them. I do. So my pick there, Eagles. And I'm going to say 41-17. I do. I just think it's going to be that high. All right, let's start it out. Steelers-Titans, this is going to be a good game. A good Thursday night game. I think, a lot of people hate Thursday nights, but this one's going to be good. The Steelers have that high-octane offense. They struggled against the Colts. They struggle against teams they're not supposed to. I really wanted to pick the Titans in this one. I wanted to say they got the upset, but it's in Pittsburgh. I think Steelers' defense is good enough to hold the Titans back, and I think the Steelers' offense is better than the Titans' offense. The Titans are going to grind the clock. I think that's a game the Steelers are going to like. It's not going to be too high-flying. I don't think Mariota's going to go too deep. I think Corey Davis has a big night. I think Antonio Brown goes off. I think Big Ben might be a good play this week. But I'm going to give the Steelers the win, 21-17 on Thursday night over the Titans. Bucs-Dolphins, this was a game that was supposed to happen week 1, but the Hurricane stalled it. And so now it's happening in weekend 11. And in weekend 11, the Bucs and the Dolphins are going at it. And the Bucs are going to get the win, 30-17 over the Dolphins. The Dolphins' offense just got stale. A lot of short pass. And yeah, they have some talent at running back, but are these guys starters for next season? No, probably not. So they have to draft somebody. They have to get a free agent, something like that. But I'm going to give the game to the Bucs, 30-17. Lions-Bears, divisional matchup in Chicago, in Soldier Field. Is it Soldier Field anymore? I don't think so. 34-26. I'm going to give it to the Lions. I'm going to say that Matthew Stafford turns up, and I think the Bears' pass defense plays better at home. So Stafford's not going to have like a huge day, but he'll do enough to beat the Bears. Lions over the Bears. Jaguars-Browns. I'm going to give it to the Jaguars. They're just playing good football. Great defense. If you got the Jaguars defense, this is going to be sweet for you. Playing the Browns offense, they should get all kinds of points. 80, 90, who knows how many points they rack up. Ravens-Packers, I'm going to give it to the Ravens. I think it'll be a close, low-scoring game. It's in Green Bay. The Packers just lost Aaron Jones. Montgomery's battling rib issues. Hundley, he's not, he got a win over the Bears last week, but the Ravens defense is going to be a little harder. And so I give it a close one to the Ravens, 17-13. Rams-Vikings, this is a potential playoff matchup. A potential playoff preview. What's going to happen? Well, the Vikings defense is pretty good. It's been playing better as of late. And Case Keenum really turned it up last week against the Redskins. The Rams defense is fast. They're flying all over the field. How are they going to handle Diggs and Thielen? Thielen's finding all the soft spots. So I think the Vikings do have the capability of playing in a high-scoring game and sticking and staying with a team like the Rams. But I just think the Rams are more talented, and their coaching staff is a little bit better. Just a little bit better. So I'm going to give it to the Rams. 30-28. Cardinals-Texans, let's give it to the Cardinals in another low-scoring game. I think it'll be like 20-14. Cardinals. Drew Stanton versus Tom Savage. Not interested. Hope I don't see anything from this game. Boarfest. 21-17. Or whatever I said before. Cardinals over the Texans. Chiefs-Giants, this should be interesting. Chiefs' pass defense is really bad. Eli Manning might have a good week because of that. But I just don't see the Chiefs losing to the Giants, a team that's pretty much given up on their coach and given up on the season. And so I'm going to give it to the Chiefs 38-17 over the Giants. Redskins Saints. Redskins are playing up, but they're just not playing well enough to beat teams. The Saints are on a roll. I think they've won 7 straight. That's crazy. A lot of people didn't see that coming. I certainly didn't. Their defense is on point. Their running game's on point since they got rid of Peterson. They're figuring things out. Breeze is not making mistakes. And so I'm going to give it to the Saints over the Redskins 26-17. Bills Chargers. Bills have to go to LA. They're traveling on the road. The way the Chargers played last week and the fact that the Bills are starting a quarterback that I have never heard of. I think he played for Pitt. He might be a rookie. Not sure. I'm going to give it to the Chargers 34-21. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that the Bills' problem isn't Tyrod Taylor. It's the complete offense and just the structure and the scheme and everything like that, and that they're making a mistake by throwing in this Peterman guy, or Peter, I don't know what his name is, the rookie quarterback. They're making a mistake. Hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Bills. They're going to turn into the Browns real quick if they don't figure out this quarterback situation. Taylor needs to be a free agent. They need to draft somebody high. Maybe they need to start tanking now. Hurry up. Chargers over the Bills 34-21. Bengals, Broncos, I give the game to the Bengals. Broncos offense is terrible. And last week the Patriots defense, which is not that good, had a great week because they were playing the Broncos offense. So now anybody playing the Broncos offense, I feel like that defense is going to do good. I'm going to give the game to the Bengals 31-20, and I am hoping that Aqib Talib and Vontaze Burfict somehow get into a fist fight. That would be awesome. Patriots Raiders 24-10. Patriots in Mexico City. A game in Mexico City, which should be really interesting to watch. But I'm going to give the game to the Patriots over the Raiders. The Raiders' pass defense, they just lost Connolly. He went on the IR. He's done for the season. The Raiders' pass defense hasn't been able to do anything. They let Jay Cutler throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on him. So the Patriots and Tom Brady should have a field day. It should be a very slow week at work for them, at the office. Slow week at the, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Eagles, Cowboys, already said it. Eagles are going to smash the Cowboys. And I swear to God, if the Cowboys win this week, I'm done. I'm done picking Cowboys games. I obviously can't get any of them right. And then the Monday night game, the Falcons and the Seahawks. Look, the Seahawks just lost Richard Sherman. They signed Byron Maxwell. He's not going to be able to do that great of a job out there. Matt Ryan should have a pretty good week. Julio should find the end zone. This will be a close game. I'm going to give it to the Seahawks, just based on the fact that they're home and it's a primetime game. I like the Seahawks in this one, but don't be surprised if Atlanta gets the win. So those are the game picks. We got the Steelers, Bucks, Lions, Jags, Ravens, Rams, Cardinals, Chiefs, Saints, Chargers, Bengals, Pats, Eagles, Seahawks. Those are the winners. Who are the locks? I'm going to give the Eagles a lock. I'm going to give the Patriots a lock. I'm going to give the Saints a lock. And then I'll give the Jaguars a lock. Those are the lock picks. You know what I'm saying? Lock picks. Whoa, that's cool. All right. Weekly fantasy lineup. That's what you really want, right? What do we got planned this week? Well, the Chiefs are playing the Giants. So there's a lot of people that are stacking Alex Smith with Tyreek Hill, with Travis Kelce, with Kareem Hunt. That's 4 players. And then you could follow that up with putting Shepard on the other end. Because, you know, if they're scoring, the Giants are going to have to throw it. And so that's one huge stack that people are playing. So, but Alex Smith matchup against the Giants is good. Even Eli's matchup against the Chiefs could be positive. People are stacking Drew Trees with Michael Thomas, saying that Thomas is going to exploit Josh Norman this week. There's a stack for you. There's a stack for you. Another stack could be Melvin Gordon and the Chargers defense against the Buffalo Bills, because the Bills are starting a rookie quarterback. You can stack the Jaguars defense with Fournette and Blake Bortles and Marquise Lee. That's another powerful stack. Because I want to give you stacks this week. I want to give you the option to do what you want. But those are 4, I think I gave you 4 stacks that are getting the most popularity, the most ownership this week. But here's what my lineup looks like. At quarterback, I'm going to go with Breeze. I'm going to stack him with Kamara, because he throws the ball to Kamara a lot, right? I don't want to stack him with Thomas just because they say, oh, he's going to exploit Josh Norman. I just think that's a tough matchup, and it's too expensive in my mind to stack Breeze, Kamara, and Thomas and still try to fill in a team. So I'm going Breeze, Kamara, then I'm going Doug Martin at running back, because he's 4,600. He's had a lot of bad weeks in a row, but he's playing a run defense that let the Panthers tear him up last week. Miami's run defense is just not that good. If Martin's going to go off any week, it's going to be this week. It's going to be this week. And if he doesn't do it this week, he won't do it at all. And he has the explosiveness. He looks good. His line just isn't pushing. His line's just not doing a good job. But I think they can exploit Miami's defense, and I'm going to play Martin here at the price, because I just feel like if he's going to explode, it's going to be this week. Then I go with Crabtree against New England, because Oakland's going to be playing from behind. They've got to throw the ball. That's why maybe a Carr stack with Crabtree or Cooper might be interesting, but in this case, I didn't do that. I'm going to go Crabtree at wide receiver, though. He's going to get points against New England's defense. Sterling Shepard's going to be my other play at wide receiver because Kansas City's going to get up on the Giants. So they're going to throw. The dude had like 14 targets last week. He's gotten 10 before that. I think Shepard is just a guy that there's so many targets. He's just automatically his floor is like 10, 15. So Shepard's my other wide receiver. Then Hopkins against Arizona. They've been exploited recently. Wide receivers have gotten points on them. And Hopkins just, you know, he has the ability to get points, and at the price, I'm like, I'll take it because he's a 20-point player. He can get 20 points pretty easily. So I'll give it to Hopkins there. Ingram's my tight end. He's just been consistent. Eli's dependent on him. A lot of targets. Consistent points. And my flex, I'm going to go with Burkhead because he did great last week. I think they want to continue using him. I'm betting on the fact that they will. And because he's only 3,600, it's like a steal if he does. So I felt wrong not to play him. Anybody else around that range of 3,600, 3,900, even 4,000 isn't as interesting as Burkhead. So I'm playing him. And then the Bengals defense against the Broncos at the price, I like it. I'll go with the Bengals defense. So I got Breeze, Kamara, Martin, Crabtree, Shepard, Hopkins, Ingram, Burkhead, Bengals. And we'll see how I do. But there's a lot of interesting stacks. This is a low-scoring week. I think Vegas only had 2 games over 50 points total. And that was like maybe the Saints and the Giants game. Saints versus the fucking, geez, what is it now? What is it again? The Redskins, and then the Giants and the Chiefs. Jesus, wow. So those 2 games are the only big high-scoring games. So if you're following what Vegas says, which is usually pretty good to do, pretty smart, then you can go with those teams and stack something there. You can go Eli Shepard on a stack as well. But the Derek Carr, Crabtree, that's a stack I'm going to play. I'm going to play Derek Carr and Crabtree. I'm probably going to play, you know, Alex Smith in a stack. I'll probably play Eli in a stack. I'll probably do those types of things. So those are some weekly fantasy tips, some lineups, and hopefully it helps you win some money. That's the way I see it. That's the way the research has pointed me to. There it is. There it is. So that's everything, I think. Yeah, no, we're going to wrap it up. We got to wrap it up. So you can check us out on YouTube, Rowdy and the Piff, Piff on the Blitz. We're on Stitcher now. We're on Google Play. Search in Rowdy and the Piff. We have the Thursday Piff on the Blitz, will give you everything you need to know about the NFL. Monday's show, it's Rowdy and the Piff, where we talk about all kinds of shit, oceans, mythological beings, creatures, all kinds of things. Check that out on Monday. You need to review. We need stars. People need to star that shit up. 5 stars all the way. And give us the reviews on YouTube or the comments on YouTube. Like, subscribe, all of that. You can email us at rowdypiffpod@gmail.com. You can get at me on Twitter at monsterpiff. Give me your fantasy questions, lineup questions, questions about football. You can get at us on Twitter at rowdypiffpod. So there you go. So there's all the ways to get at us. You can do it now and star it up. And if you're listening to this, it just takes literally 2 minutes to go and star that shit. Go to the fucking app, go to the review section, write a little blurb about something. It doesn't even have to say very much, but just give the stars up. You know what I'm saying? I'm a hoe about stars. Give them to me. That was Piff on the Blitz, episode 11. We'll see you next week. The Thanksgiving Turkey Day Turk Dunkin' special out.
Where the weight at? Before I ran up in the building talking way back. I stay late night dreaming about the payback. All I wanna do is get rich, hey, 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 yo. I get looking for a lick, hey, 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 yo. About to rob 'em for the shit, hey, 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 yo. Want the rollie on the wrist, hey, hey, hey. All I wanna do is get rich, hey, hey, hey. Now where the hate at? Feeling next up.